Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Access, where today I've got my little black book, Elle.
You have.
Get excited. Wait, I should explain. It contained notes about my experience.
Exciting.
Sorry, I don't know what you thought was in there. It contains notes about my experience of playing Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh, that is exciting.
It is exciting,
okay.
Exactly. I got to play it at Gamescom this year. Sorry, everyone else. And I have written a list of 7 things I learned. I was going to say, did I learn anything about myself? And I probably did. That's not part of the list, but you can have it for free. I learned that I'm very good prey, not so good predator.
Is that something you just learnt now?
Well, that's why I didn't put it in the list. Because I was like, I can't really claim as just having learnt that. I think we all knew that. In case you don't know, Predator Hunting Grounds was announced earlier this year. It's an asymmetrical competitive multiplayer game. So a team of humans, soldiers, will take on the Predator out in the jungle. I'm trying to say not too much because I don't want to, lean into any of my things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start right away with number 1 now.
That's a good idea.
Which is the locals are not happy.
Oh no.
So I didn't think about this when I heard about this game. I thought that you were going to be your team of like Marines or whatever they are, commandos, versus the Predator, and that was going to be it. You're going to be on the map.
That's what I thought.
Just those guys. But actually, I forgot about the film. Where, of course, the commandos are on an operation, and so they are in the game. So you're in the part I played, at least, in the jungle. You are undertaking some sort of secret covert operations where there's guerrillas, paramilitary sort of guerrillas with little bases in the jungle, which you have a mission to complete. So we were there trying to disrupt communications, destroy equipment, like hack into systems and things like that. So that's kind of your team mission as the commandos. Of course, the Predator's trying to kill you.
That's his mission.
But if the Predator wasn't there, there would still be a game. Because you are up against the AI, and there's a lot of them. They keep coming. They're prevalent. You can't just wipe out the map. They're going to always be there. But interestingly, they are also a nuisance for the Predator, which makes sense. I say interestingly. I mean, nobody wants to be predated upon. Including the AI. So they will, of course, be after you as commandos, but they'll also be after you as the Predator. And
they sound brave.
Yeah, they are, or stupid. Not sure just yet.
Maybe both.
So it adds a real kind of, it really spices things up because it's not straightforward. You can't constantly be on the lookout for the Predator. You've got this mission to complete, and there's a lot of AI in the way of that already. And as the Predator, you can't just kind of like stand back, and you can't be visible all the time. You need to work on your stealth because it's not just the human players who are looking for you, but the AI are as well. So you have to be clever and cunning and stealthy. Point number 2, because the Predator is not invincible. And I mean, that's obviously a fact, again, if you've seen any of the movies, but it's interesting because they're trying to toe that line of, as the Predator, you want to feel powerful. And I think when I first sat down to be the Predator, I did feel a bit invincible, which was a mistake, as my Predator didn't live. For the good of mankind, though. But I think that's important. So the Predator, because you don't want to feel, I think it's important to know as the commandos, that the Predator can definitely be beaten. And the Predator ambushes for a reason. It's because, it is strong. It is a strong creature, but it's definitely not invincible. And the Predator player has to be aware of that. Needs to be ambushing. Needs to be trying to sort of pull the team apart. Kind of get someone alone.
Ooh, pick them off.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pick them off one at a time.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of leaping into the middle of a base. Where it was amazing. I pounced from the trees.
You can try and make it sound as cool as you
like. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed this one guy, but then the rest of his team were there, and they all shot me, and then the AI was and I was trying to get away, and it didn't end well for me.
Lesson learned.
Predator, not invincible.
Yeah.
And this increases that. Number 3, everything is a trade-off. So Predator has a lot of technology at his disposal. But it's all a trade-off. So, for instance, you can use the kind of like, I don't know what you call it, invisibility, active camo. It does have an energy source. So there's a power bar that will slowly deplete as you're using it. But then to repower it, you just turn it off and it recharges quite quickly.
Okay, good.
The trade-off is that you make noise. You make that involuntary little predator chirrup when you are invisible. So
please do it. Good. Thanks.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Great. Just GIF that. Make that into a little GIF.
Yeah.
GIFs don't have sound, so don't do that. So there's that. First of all, there is that if your wrist blades are very powerful, but if you get up close, you are risking, like as I did, getting set upon by the AI, that kind of thing. Everything's a trade-off. It's really, really smart how they've done that, and I think it really works. I think the best predators will be the ones who do plan, and you get in and your instinct is like, let's go, going to kill everybody
that would definitely be my
as quickly as possible. Run in, smash the place up, and I'm sure that some people will have success with that. The most skilled predators, maybe. But I think the route that will really excel are those predators who take their time. The mission takes a while. It's going to take these teams probably like 15 minutes if they're really organised and they just crack on. I reckon it'll take them 15 minutes to complete all their objectives. And you don't have to kill them until right at the end. You can just take your time, try and separate them, and everything is a trade-off with your system. So you need to understand how that works, and understand that you can't just be walking around invisible because you're going to be making actually enough noise, maybe not a lot of noise. You've got the plasma caster, very powerful, and you can actually charge it up, but it creates a direct beam to your position, so you might spend a lot of time in the trees. And by the way, the traversal is super easy and really, really cool. You feel very mobile as the predator. So you might get this great position in the trees and be invisible, and then you find your target and you use your plasma caster on them, and it creates this big red line of light that goes, there's a predator in that tree. So everything's a trade-off. It's very, very cool. Number 4, I don't have a lot of information on this one. This was a little one. They wouldn't tell us anything more. There are different classes of predator.
What?
Yes. So I'm assuming this is going to relate directly to the technology they have.
Yeah.
All I can say is that the predator we played was the hunter class, and there are other classes. They don't know. They wouldn't say how many or what the difference is between them. But I can tell you our predator had the plasma caster, the active camo, the wrist blades, and also wrist computer. But who knows what? It was interesting. I don't know.
Want there to be like a stealthy hacking one that wears glasses.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Can we get that? Can we make that happen?
Please.
They'll get on it.
Thanks.
Number 5, humans all look alike, which is not like a value judgment. This is as the predator.
It's just your message at the end of this. Just finishing off.
By the way,
humans all look alike.
They do. I really like this. So the predator, obviously, as the predator, you really want to kill the human players as opposed to the AI. That's your real goal. That's your win condition, is killing all of those. However, they all look alike, very, very similar. So they're all in camo. They move very similarly. So at a glance, just looking at a base, you can't really see who's AI and who's human controlled. So in order to see that, you have to use your vision power, which is another power I didn't say that the Predator Hunter has, but they do, which will after a time highlight. So you have to be looking directly at the humans, and it will after a time highlight this is one of the human control players. But that again is using power as part of that trade-off I was talking about. It I think increases the noise that you're making. So, but if you don't use that, it's very hard to tell, And again, I think this is why a stealthy, relaxed predator could succeed observing what's going on. I think if you observe long enough, it's going to be maybe more obvious by seeing how those different characters are interacting, what they're doing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But at first glance, it's just two groups of humans, fighting each other. So I thought that was really cool because it's not just straightforward. There's not just a big blip over all the human players' heads, like, oh, there they are, that's the one you want to shoot, or whatever. It's not that clear, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Number 6, teamwork is vital. And it is because, as I found out as the Predator, a group of humans players are actually really strong. If you're working together, you can quite easily defeat the Predator. I think the Predator is always going to be wanting to pull the team apart, pick people off one by one. So it's really important as the Commandos to work as a team, and that can mean, you know, like traveling together, this covering, you know, different quadrants, if you like, as you're playing, making sure that you're, you know, going for the objectives. You can mark things on the map. So, you know, a little bit like a kind of like an Apex Legends system. It's contextual. You can look at stuff and ping it.
That's
so
ideal.
if you can see the Predator, you can ping it, and your team will know objectives, things like that.
Why wouldn't you always just travel together? So does the game force you to split up at some point, or
No,
could you just like?
No, only because people are bad at team games sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think a good team of commandos is going to be difficult to take down as the Predator, or just will require a bit more thought. But you know, certainly we had 3 or 4 games. It was our first time playing. People were just kind of doing what they wanted, and any time people were separated, that's when the Predator could really strike. And then once you're downed, you can be rezzed by your teammate. Again, part of the teamwork thing. I love that because what I tried to do and failed to do as the Predator was to down someone and use them as bait for someone else.
I mean, that's the dream.
I got someone down, I went back up in the tree, someone else came over, and that's when I went down.
Yeah.
And he just rezzed the first player as I took out the rezzer.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team arrived, and then it all went south for me quite quickly.
It was an impressive plan, though.
It was a good plan, right? Yeah, exactly.
That was my first thought. This is why I was asking the question. So
right.
I wanted to know if I could do that.
Yeah, well, you definitely can.
So just be speedier about it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
you
cool.
know, I that will be my plan. I think.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel confident, even though I was defeated, that it will work at some point, probably.
Yeah.
Last point, number 7, is that there are lots of cool nods to the IPs. And again, I don't have a lot of information about this. This is what the developers were telling us. But I think the important thing is it's not just based on Predator. It's based on the Predator IP.
Oh.
So there are many Predator movies.
Yeah.
Predator's made many appearances in different films and franchises and things. So it's not just the Predator movie made into a game. For instance, like it's not set in the 80s. It's a contemporary. It's kind of like a mix of that aesthetic, but with, you know, they've updated the technology and things.
Yeah.
So we were like hacking computers and things like that. The weapons are much more contemporary. They're not just like, you know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's and they said there's going to be loads of cool nods to it, which I like the sound of, little Easter eggs and things like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And I absolutely loved the environment. Like that we were walking around in, there was like a kind of Incan temple, and there was a downed cargo plane, and you'd be walking along and you just suddenly spot a flayed alive person just hanging from a tree.
Good. Nice.
Which I really liked. So
environmental storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're a big Predator fan, it's exciting that they've looked at across the kind of genre, and they're trying to, I think, add to the canon, add to that story of Predator, you know, from the different movies, as opposed to just the first one. So yeah, that's 7 things I learned, and the bonus one being that I'm a bad Predator, good prey. But by the way, being good prey means that I defeated the Predator twice as a commando.
Oh, okay.
But I was a bad prey in terms of bad Predator.
Yeah.
I was also defeated.
Yeah.
So not ideal.
Defeats all round.
Defeats all round. Yes, that's 7 things I learned, and one bonus thing that you already knew. Please do comment to let us know how you would play as Predator, and any ideas what the different Predator classes could be. Like this video if you liked it, which I know you did, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything else from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.